never believed in conspiracy theories. I thought they were just some bullshit cooked up by internet weirdos with too much time on their hands. Flat Earth, 9/11 being an inside job, the moon landing being fake, all that crap. But then I saw something I wasn't supposed to see, and now I wish I could go back to being blissfully ignorant. It started with a stupid joke. My buddy Kyle and I were drunk, scrolling through YouTube late at night, watching those celebrities caught shape-shifting videos. You know the ones, grainy footage of some A-lister blinking weirdly, or their skin looking off for half a second. We were laughing our asses off at how dumb it all was when Kyle said, "Dude, what if this shit's real?" "Then I hope they kill me before I gotta work another double at fucking Applebee's," I joked. But Kyle wasn't laughing anymore. He leaned in, squinting at his phone screen. "Now, man, I mean, what if some of them really did sell their souls? You ever notice how some of these people just blow up overnight? Like they're nobody, then suddenly they're fucking everywhere?" "Yeah, it's called marketing." He shook his head. "Nah, I mean like, overnight, no build-up, no grind, just famous as fuck out of nowhere." I was too drunk to argue, so I just shrugged and let him keep rambling about the fame pipeline. But the more he talked, the less funny it sounded. "They don't just get famous, dude. They change. Like they start looking different, acting weird, saying creepy shit in interviews." He pulled up a clip of some rapper, one of those mumble dudes I never cared about, talking about how he gave himself away for the life. Another clip of a pop star saying she let something else take over. "Bro, they're just being edgy," I said. Kyle looked at me, dead serious. "What if they're not?" That was the night everything changed. I didn't think about it again until a week later. Kyle sent me a link to some obscure forum, one of those deep web-style places where every post feels like you're about to get put on a government watch list. The thread title was "They Are Not Human, Celebrities and Their True Nature." I clicked it out of morbid curiosity, expecting a bunch of schizos talking about aliens or Illuminati shit. But the first post was different. "There is an initiation process. The price is blood. The reward is everything. But they are no longer themselves. They change. They are made to serve. They wear human skin, but they are not human." The comments were worse. People claiming to be ex-Hollywood assistants, former music producers, makeup artists, anonymous accounts obviously, but they all had the same story. Fame isn't given, it's taken. A deal is made, something is sacrificed, and then they're different. Not just mentally, physically. One guy claimed he saw a well-known actor shedding his skin backstage at the Oscars, revealing something slimy and dark underneath. Another talked about a famous influencer who had to be patched up after their disguise started peeling in the heat. I should have laughed it off, but something about the sheer volume of these stories unsettled me. There were thousands of replies, thousands of people all saying the same thing. And then I saw Kyle's username. His post was different from the rest. I think I saw one of them change. It was at a club in LA, a big name, not going to say who. They thought no one was watching, but I was. I saw their face glitch, just for a second. Their skin wrinkled wrong, like a mask that wasn't put on right. Their eyes weren't eyes anymore. And when they saw me looking, they smiled. But their mouth was too wide, too many teeth. I texted him immediately. "Dude, what the fuck did you post?" No response. I called him. Straight to voicemail. I checked his Instagram. His last post was 3 days ago. A picture of his feet in the sand at Venice Beach with the caption, "Living the Dream." I went to his place. The second I stepped inside, I knew something was wrong. The lights were off. The air was thick with something rancid, like spoiled meat left out in the sun. I called his name, but the only sound was the quiet hum of his refrigerator. Then I saw the blood, not just a little, a lot. splattered across the floor, streaked on the walls, a handprint near the bathroom door, smeared like someone had tried to hold on before being dragged away. My stomach dropped. I pushed the bathroom door open, expecting the worst. No Kyle. But the mirror? Jesus Christ, the mirror. The whole thing was covered in scratches. Deep, jagged gouges like someone had been trying to claw their way through the glass. And in the middle of it, written in shaky, frantic letters, "Not him anymore." I got the fuck out of there. Called the cops, but by the time they arrived, the apartment was spotless. No blood, no scratches, no sign that anything had ever happened. They looked at me like I was crazy. Even pulled up a fresh Instagram story from Kyle's account, a blurry video of him laughing at a party, surrounded by people I didn't recognize. I knew right then that it wasn't him. Kyle never used Instagram stories. He thought they were cringe. And the thing wearing his face in that video, it didn't have his eyes. I don't know what's happening. I don't know who to trust. But I know this. Kyle is gone. And whatever took his place is watching me. I couldn't sleep after what happened at Kyle's place. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the scratches on the mirror, the blood on the walls that just disappeared. My brain kept trying to rationalize it. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I was drunk. Maybe Kyle was just messing with me. But deep down, I knew Kyle was fucking gone, and whatever was pretending to be him was watching me. The next morning, I did something I never do. I called out of work. No way I was going to go serve bottomless mimosas at Applebee's when my best friend had just been fucking replaced. Instead, I sat on my couch, staring at my phone, debating whether to text him. Finally, I caved. "Dude, you okay?" I watched the 3 little dots pop up immediately. "Yo, my guy!" Last night was wild LOL. What's up? I just stared at the message. Kyle didn't talk like that. He never called me my guy, and he never texted lol. The way he typed, it felt wrong, forced. I decided to test him. "Dude, you still owe me $50 from Vegas. When you paying me back?" Kyle never went to Vegas. Another instant reply. "Oh shit, El Mau, I forgot. I'll Venmo you later, bro." My stomach turned. Whoever this was, it wasn't Kyle. I didn't text back. I just sat there, phone in my lap, trying to piece together what the fuck was going on. But then something happened that made my blood run cold. A notification popped up on my screen. "Kyle sent you $50. I stared at it, hands shaking. Number no fucking way. I checked his Instagram again. New post, a picture of him at a coffee shop, holding up a Starbucks cup with his name on it, smiling at the camera. And behind him, in the reflection of the window, something was wrong. His face in the reflection wasn't smiling. It was watching. Staring, blank, unnatural. Like it knew I was looking. I dropped my phone and fucking ran. I didn't know where to go. All I knew was I had to get the fuck away. I jumped in my car and just drove. No destination, just anywhere but my apartment. I ended up in some shitty diner off the highway, one of those places that look the same no matter where you are in the country. Worn-out booths, old men drinking coffee, the smell of burnt bacon and desperation. The waitress came over, barely looking at me as she poured coffee into a chipped mug. "You look like shit," she muttered. "Yeah," I said. I sat there, staring at the coffee, trying to make sense of what was happening. I pulled out my phone again, opened up Kyle's Instagram. The comments under his new post were blowing up. "Bro, you look different, WTF. Filter? Nah, he looks weird as hell." Low-key, uncanny valley vibes, people noticed. They just didn't know what they were seeing. And then I got a DM from a private account. No profile pic, no followers, just one message. "Stop looking. You won't like what you find." My hands went numb. I glanced around the diner, suddenly hyper-aware of everyone in there. The trucker at the counter, the old lady by the window, the couple arguing over pancakes. Had one of them sent it? Was I being followed? The waitress came back, setting down a plate of eggs I don't remember ordering. "You good?" I looked up at her, trying to keep my voice steady. "Did you see anyone watching me?" She raised an eyebrow. "Like who?" I shook my head. Never mind. I needed to calm down. I needed to figure this out. So I went back to the forum. The thread was gone, deleted. But there was a new post, one that hadn't been there before. They know. It had one comment from Kyle's username. I swear to God my heart fucking stopped. I slammed my laptop shut, knocking over my coffee. The waitress glared at me, but I didn't care. I was shaking. Kyle was gone. And whatever had taken his place knew I was onto it. I drove home, checking my mirrors every 5 seconds, paranoid that someone or something was following me. By the time I got back to my apartment, the sun was setting. My brain was screaming at me not to go inside, but where the fuck else was I supposed to go? I stepped inside, locking the door behind me, and then I saw it. A note, sitting on my kitchen counter. My name was written on it in red ink, but it wasn't my handwriting. It wasn't Kyle's either. I picked it up, my hands trembling. Inside, one sentence. "You should have stopped looking." And under it, a picture of me sleeping in my bed from last night. I don't remember much after that. My brain just shut down. I don't know how long I stood there staring at that picture of me sleeping. My own fucking face, my own fucking bed. Someone had been in my apartment, watching me, taking pictures. My stomach twisted so hard I thought I was going to puke. The air in my apartment felt wrong, heavy, like I wasn't alone, like something was still here. I checked the locks, bolted the windows, pushed my couch in front of the door. Then I sat on the floor, back against the wall, shaking so hard I could barely breathe. I thought about calling the cops. But what the fuck was I supposed to say? "Hey, officer, someone broke into my apartment and left me a picture of myself sleeping. Oh, also my best friend got replaced by some kind of inhuman thing and now it's pretending to be him on social media." Yeah, that'd go over real well. I didn't sleep. I just sat there, clutching a kitchen knife, staring at my bedroom door like something was going to crawl out of it. By the time morning came, I was exhausted, but I knew I couldn't stay in my apartment. I needed answers. Kyle had gotten too close to something, and now he was gone. And whoever or whatever replaced him was watching me. I needed to find out why. I called in sick again, pretty sure my manager at Applebee's was going to fire me soon, but I had bigger problems. Then I started digging. The first place I went was the deep web forum where Kyle had posted. It was gone, wiped clean like it never existed. I tried searching for archived versions, cached pages, nothing. Like someone didn't just delete the thread, they erased it. But I didn't stop there. I went back to Kyle's old posts, his Twitter, his Reddit history. He used to post on conspiracy subs all the time, just fucking around. But a few weeks before he disappeared, his posts got weird. Hollywood isn't what you think it is, the ones at the top. They aren't people anymore. You ever wonder why celebs die young? Some don't. Some just change. They shed. I saw one. I wish I hadn't. The last post he ever made was 2 days before he disappeared. If something happens to me, don't believe what you see. They can copy us. They can be us, but they're not us. I felt sick. Kyle had figured something out. He saw something he wasn't supposed to. And now, he was gone. I needed to talk to someone who knew more about this. Kyle had mentioned a guy once, some deep web researcher, a real tinfoil hat type, but apparently he had connections. His username was Black Dog. I spent the rest of the day trying to track him down, scouring old forums and sketchy sites. Finally, I found a message board where people were talking about him. Most of them said the same thing. He doesn't post anymore. Someone replied, he got too close. Another user. He started talking about the deals, the contracts, then he vanished. But one post stood out. If you really need to find him, go to the pit, ask for Red. I had no fucking idea what that meant, but I was desperate. I DM'd the guy asking where the pit was. He responded instantly. Downtown LA, 3rd and Main. Ask the bartender. The pit was a dive bar, a bad one. The kind of place where the floors are sticky, the walls are yellow from decades of cigarette smoke, and everyone inside looks like they've done time. I walked in, trying to act like I wasn't about to piss myself. The bartender was a heavy-set guy with a shaved head and dead eyes. I hesitated for a second, then leaned in. I'm looking for Red. His face didn't change. He just wiped the bar with a dirty rag and nodded toward the back. I walked past a couple of junkies, slumped in a booth, and into a dark hallway that smelled like piss and cheap whiskey. At the end was a red door. I knocked. The guy who opened it was fucked up. Mid-40s, greasy hair, bloodshot eyes, twitchy like he hadn't slept in a week. You Red? I asked. He stared at me for a long time. Who sent you? I hesitated. A friend. He exhaled, rubbed his face. Yeah, I'm Red. What do you want? I swallowed hard. I'm looking for Black Dog. Something in his face changed. His eyes flicked past me, like he was checking to see if I was alone. Then he grabbed my shirt and yanked me inside. He slammed the door behind us. You're a fucking idiot, he hissed. You know that? What? They watch for people like you, people who start digging. He paced the room, muttering under his breath. Black Dog's gone, man. You won't find him. What do you mean gone? Red stopped pacing. I mean gone. One day he's posting, next day he's wiped off the internet, his accounts, his emails, his whole fucking existence. I felt cold. Like Kyle. Red looked at me sharply. Who's Kyle? My friend. He was looking into this shit. The celebrity stuff, the contracts, the changes. Then he disappeared. Red didn't say anything for a long time. He just stared at me, jaw clenched. Then he reached into a drawer and pulled out a USB drive.
You didn't hear this from me, he muttered, shoving it into my hand. What's on it? Proof. His voice was dead serious. Real proof. Not that YouTube bullshit. This is the kind of shit people die over. I swallowed. My mouth was dry. What am I looking at? Red exhaled slowly. Videos. Documents. Contracts. He looked me dead in the eye. Footage of the rituals. I felt my stomach twist. I can't keep talking to you, Red muttered, rubbing his temples. I shouldn't have even let you in. Before I could say anything else, he opened the door. Go, and if you're smart, you'll stop looking. I didn't go home. I went to a 24-hour internet cafe and plugged in the USB. There were 5 folders. Celebrity contracts, transformation, footage, rituals, silenced whistleblowers. They are watching. I clicked on the second one first. Inside were dozens of video files. I opened the first one. The screen was dark at first, grainy, like it had been recorded on a hidden camera. A dimly lit dressing room. A man sitting in front of a mirror. A famous man, I won't say his name. But you know him. He was breathing heavy, sweating, gripping the edge of the table. His reflection, oh fuck, his reflection was moving wrong, not mirroring him. It blinked too late, smiled too wide. Then his skin started to shift, like something was moving underneath it. I slammed the laptop shut. My whole body was shaking. I needed to get out of there. But when I looked up, the cashier was staring at me, not blinking, just smiling. Too wide, my whole body went cold. The cashier, some skinny, dead-eyed guy in a faded Walmart hoodie, just stood there, watching me from behind the counter. His lips were stretched into this unnatural grin, like his mouth had too many fucking teeth. He didn't blink, didn't move, just stood there, staring. I grabbed the USB and my laptop and got the fuck out of there. The second I stepped outside, the night air felt wrong. Like the whole city had changed while I was inside. The streets were too quiet. No cars, no people. Just the buzzing of a street lamp flickering overhead. And then I saw it. Across the street, a man, standing under the street lamp, perfectly still, dressed in a black suit, hands folded in front of him like he was waiting for something. But his face, it was too smooth, like his skin had been stretched too tight. His mouth was just wrong. Too wide, almost like he was trying to imitate a human smile but couldn't quite get it right. I took a step back. He tilted his head like he was listening to something. And then he started walking toward me. I ran, didn't look back, just fucking ran. I ducked into an alley, cutting through back streets, jumping fences like I was in a fucking action movie. My lungs were burning, my legs felt like lead, but I didn't stop. I had no plan, no idea where I was going. I just knew I couldn't go home. They knew where I lived. They'd been inside my fucking apartment. I ended up at a shitty motel off the highway, one of those places where you could pay cash and nobody asked questions. The clerk barely looked at me as I slid a few crumpled bills across the counter. "Room 14, he muttered, tossing me a key. I locked the door the second I got inside. The room smelled like cigarettes and piss, but I didn't care. I yanked the curtains shut, shoved a chair under the doorknob, then sat on the bed, shaking, trying to catch my breath. I needed to see more. I didn't want to, but I had to. Whatever was happening to Kyle, whatever the fuck was going on with these celebrities, someone had to know. Someone had to see. I plugged the USB back in. I opened the transformation footage folder again, clicked on another file. The screen flickered. A woman sitting in a dimly lit room. Another big name. One of those actresses who just seemed to appear out of nowhere, blowing up overnight. She was shaking, whispering something to herself. Then she lifted her hands and started pulling at her face, not her skin, something under it. Her fingers dug in deep, peeling away the surface like wet paper. Underneath, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. It wasn't human. Her real face, slick, dark, scaly. Her eyes, black, like a fucking shark. She was breathing heavy, staring at herself in the mirror. And then she turned, looked directly at the camera, like she knew someone was watching. And she smiled. I slammed the laptop shut. My stomach clenched, and I barely made it to the motel bathroom before I started dry heaving into the sink. This was real. It wasn't a conspiracy theory. It wasn't some dumb internet hoax. These people, these things, they were fucking real. And they knew I was watching. I splashed cold water on my face, trying to pull myself together. I needed to leave. I needed to disappear. My brain was already running through options: bus station, burner phone, fake name, when I heard something outside. A car engine, slow, rolling up to the motel. I turned off the bathroom light, crept toward the window, barely pulling the curtain back. A black SUV, tinted windows. It stopped right outside my room. I couldn't breathe. The door opened. A man stepped out. Not the guy from the street lamp. Someone else, dressed the same. Black suit, too stiff, too perfect. Then another, then a third. All of them standing there, facing my door, waiting. I took a step back. My foot hit the bed. The floor creaked, and then a knock. Not knocking, not knocking, not knocking. A voice. Low, even. "Sir, we need to talk to you." I stayed silent. "We know you're in there." I grabbed my bag, my keys. I had to move, had to get out. "We just want to ask you some questions." No fucking way. I crept toward the bathroom window, fingers shaking as I unlatched it. It was small, but I could squeeze through. I just had to. Glass shattered. I ducked, heart hammering. They had smashed the front window. I could hear them climbing in. I threw myself through the bathroom window, hitting the ground hard, rolling onto the pavement. Didn't stop, didn't look back. I ran. I don't know how long I ran. Hours, maybe. My whole body felt like it was on fire. By the time I stopped, I was in the middle of nowhere. A gas station off the highway. I stumbled inside, gasping for breath. The cashier, a young girl, maybe 20, looked up at me, startled. "Hey, are you okay?" I tried to speak. Nothing came out. She reached for the phone. "Do you need me to call someone?" I shook my head. No cops. Her face changed. She looked over my shoulder, and then she smiled. Too wide, like she knew. I turned. Through the glass doors, the black SUV, waiting. I was out of time. The black SUV was parked right outside, its engine idling. No one got out. No doors opened. It was just waiting, watching. The cashier was still smiling. That same too wide, too wrong smile. I backed away, my hands shaking. I couldn't stay here. I turned and ran toward the back of the gas station, through the stockroom, shoving past shelves of beer cases and motor oil. My mind was screaming at me to move faster, but my body was shutting down. My muscles ached, my lungs burned, my vision was swimming. I found the back door, bolted. Fuck. I grabbed a metal shelf and ripped it down, the sound of bottles shattering filling the room as I climbed over the mess. There, a window. Small, but I could fit. I didn't stop to think. I grabbed a wrench from a nearby toolbox and smashed the glass. And then, from the front of the gas station, a voice, low, even, calm. "Come outside." I didn't look. Didn't fucking look. I yanked myself up and through the window, feeling the jagged glass tear at my arms as I dropped onto the gravel behind the building. I didn't stop running. Not until I was deep into the trees behind the highway. I hid there for hours, maybe longer. I don't even remember sitting down, just my back against a tree, my hands clenched around my knees, shaking so bad I thought I'd fall apart. They were everywhere. Kyle had been right. They weren't people anymore. They shed. They changed. And now they knew I knew. It was almost dawn when I finally moved. I needed to get rid of my phone, my laptop, anything that could be tracked. I walked for miles, staying off the main roads, keeping my head down whenever a car passed. Eventually I found a bridge over a river, pulled out my phone, my laptop, the USB. For a second I hesitated. This was proof of everything. But what good was proof if I was fucking dead? I hurled it all into the river, watched it sink, gone. I hitchhiked for a while, paid cash for a bus ticket to a town I'd never heard of, stayed in motels where nobody asked for ID. I cut my hair, stopped using social media, threw away my old clothes, bought cheap ones from a thrift store. I did everything I could to disappear. And for a while, I thought it worked. Months passed, no strange texts, no black SUVs, no watching faces. I started to think maybe, just maybe, I'd gotten away. Until last night. I was in some shitty diner in the middle of nowhere drinking bad coffee when I heard a voice behind me, low, even, calm. "Hey, my guy." I froze. That voice. I hadn't heard it in months. I turned around, and there he was, Kyle, sitting across from me, smiling, like nothing had ever happened, like he hadn't been fucking gone. "I've been looking for you, dude," he said. "Where you been?" I couldn't speak. My hands clenched the table so hard my knuckles went white. Kyle leaned forward. His smile never changed. Too wide, too wrong. "Come on, man," he said, voice easy. "Too easy. Don't you want to come back home?" My stomach twisted. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. I forced myself to look at his eyes. And that's when I knew the thing sitting across from me It wasn't Kyle. It never had been, but now it wanted me.